Okay.
Yeah, I think I will too.
And we're going to
And
stop talking.
Yeah, it's 7:05. So if you want to get things started, Steve, it looks like we're good to go.
Okay, sounds good. I'm Steve Bearson. I'm the president of the 3D Club. And thank you, everybody. Just hold for a pause there. Then this is our meeting for March. One thing I want to make everybody aware of is we are going to have a workshop on 3D Day. 3D Day is the third day of the third month.
The third week.
So
Third
it's
full week.
3-3-3. Yeah, remember third full week. So it comes kind of late this year. So it's going to be after the meeting. And we have David Starkman is going to give a talk on beginning stereo photo maker. And I'm pretty
And when
excited
is that,
about
Steve?
that. The third week of the third month. I feel like I'm reading out of the Bible. The third week of the third month of the third year, which is the 23rd of March on Tuesday at exactly 6 p.m. And David's talking, but nobody can hear him because he's muted.
Oh, we should have done it at 3 p.m.
Yeah. What?
We should have done it at 3 p.m. Exactly. So that's 3-3-3-3-3-3. But
well, I'll tell you a story, David.
No.
When me and my wife got married, we decided we'd get married on 11/11 at 11/11. And I told my dad I was excited. I said, that way we could remember it. I'd never forget my anniversary. So I told my dad, we're getting married on 11/11, 11/11. And my dad's an old World War II soldier.
And that's a World War I date.
Yeah, but the thing he said is that's when Hitler burned the
Reichstag?
No, he burned the railroad car that they signed the armistice in Paris. He took over Paris and for the anniversary. And I said, Dad, you're the only person I know who would remember that part of it and not the fact that World War I ended on 11/11 at 11/11. You remember that Hitler burned the
rail car.
The rail car. What a pessimist.
11/11 is my birthday, so that's.
Yeah, I know.
I'm concerned. Yeah.
All right. Well, for the 3D part of it, maybe I'll make it a show and tell item someday. Or maybe I could do it today. In one of the Rumbild books, there is a picture of that rail car in 3D, because taken on the day when Hitler had them bring that rail car out for the Allies for the French to surrender to the German during World War II. And it was photographed in 3D. And in one of the photos, William Shirer, the guy who wrote Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, there's a picture of the foreign press at their typewriters at outdoor benches on that occasion, and William Shirer's in one of the pictures. I'll save that for show and tell sometime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of 11/11/11/11, everybody knows Melody Steele, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Her birthday is December 12th. So in the year 2012, I sent her a birthday text at 12:12 p.m. And that was really fun to be able to do that.
12/12 on 12/12/12.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, on 3-3-3-3-3-3 at 6 p.m., which is 3 times 2. So David will be giving the talk. Same channel as here, LA 3D. So whatever you did to get here.
3D.club.
Yeah, LA3D.club.
This is the third week of March today, though, isn't it?
Yeah, we went in and said third complete week.
This is not the third full week.
But March 1st was Monday.
Yeah, not Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not Sunday.
Just want to make sure I get it straight. Thank you.
Just remember, Sunday's the first
So-
day of the week,
Actual
according
dates,
to
please.
the,
Yeah. So
just
3D
give me
Day,
a break,
National-
everybody.
National 3D Day will be on a different date every year, but it's always going to be the third day of the third full week. So this year it falls on March 23rd.
Okay. On that note, let's see, we're gonna do the meeting. We're gonna start with the competition. Then we are going to go into pinhole cameras. Then David, do you have something to show from the archives this week?
Yes.
Okay, then we'll do that, and then we'll have show and tell. So competition will be next. So our competition director and our vice president is David Kuntz. David, please take the David, are you even there?
You're muted, David.
Sorry about that. I muted myself. But
Good
now-
for you.
Hold it. Something horrifying has happened here.
Okay, well, let's go to something else then.
No, I'm good other than, oh, I know what it is. I didn't rename
I have
this.
my vacation slides just waiting to be shown.
Okay, hold on. I just suddenly realized I need to make a little printout or something that allows me to tabulate all of the theme judging, and I didn't do that. But I'll deal with that at the appropriate time. Okay, are we good to go here? Am I dreaming that? We're ready to rock and roll on this thing. All right,
Yeah.
welcome everybody to
Set
the
for you.
March competition of the LA 3D Club. We had a great turnout for the competition this month. We had 15 people enter. And we even had a first timer, Gordon, who is on the meeting tonight from New York. So welcome aboard, Gordon. And just for comparison, we had 11 people in March. And this time was 15. One of the reasons we got so many people this time is that I didn't ask any of our normal entrants to be judges. So that would mean they couldn't enter this month. So that cleared the field. And once again, because we are judging virtually, I took advantage of that fact to choose any judges from absolutely anywhere in the world that I felt like choosing. And I have a very distinguished and very international panel this time. The first one is Gert-Jan Volkers from the Netherlands, who is a superb 3D still photographer. He does a lot of scenic and landscape photography, and he was also a pioneer in using high dynamic range photography in 3D. Our second judge is Pierre Mandre from Paris, France. Pierre is also a great photographer and also a great videographer. And he's done some award-winning stuff with video at the NSA conventions. And he also does a lot of amazing time-lapse work of still time-lapse photography in 3D. And our third judge is Oktay Akdeniz from Istanbul, Turkey. He's known for his infrared 3D and also for macro photography. In fact, he builds and sells macro 3D lens attachments. So thanks to our judges. We'll start looking at the images in a moment, but the first thing I want to do is direct you to our HTML5 gallery, which hopefully Eric is going to share the link for, and also possibly explain how the heck to use it.
Okay, yeah, give me 1 second here.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I'm going to share my screen and get us going with Stereo Photo Maker. And maybe if we're real lucky, this time it won't keep giving me that weird message that there's something that's the active window, yada, yada, yada. I never quite figured that business out. Let's see. What am I
Yeah, I put the link to the standard category in.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Okay.
there's a main menu page. Actually, you don't want to
Yeah, you should get the link to the main
You wanna
menu page.
yeah. Let me give you the other one, because
That one
if you
in.
give them that, they can't get to the others. Okay, so I am going to paste the link to our galleries into the chat. You can also just go to la3dclub.com and it's right on the front of the main page. But if you want to get there directly, you can go to the link I just put in the chat.
And do you want to say anything about how to use that, or are we going to assume that anybody who is bold enough to try it knows what they're doing, or what?
I can demonstrate it.
Yeah, give a quick
if
demo,
you stop
please.
if you stop your screen share.
All right, I just gotten good at it. Okay, there you go. It's all yours. And let me just make sure I.
Okay.
Yeah, screen share's on. Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to share my browser here. So this is, if you follow that link that I've put in the chat, it'll take you to this landing page. You can see we have links to the standard category, the modified category, and the theme category. And if you click on the link, it will open up a menu page where you can see all of the images that are in that category. If you go to the first image and select it, it will launch the player. And then you can go to the menu here at the top and select from a number of different viewing methods. You can select from several kinds of anaglyph. You can select parallel viewing if you have a preference for that. You can select cross viewing. And you can even, if you have an interlaced display like a 3D TV, you can select interlaced and put it right up on your 3D TV and view the images.
Well, that and the one I actually use usually is the side-by-side squeeze, and then I go full screen, and I think that's something that a lot of
Yes. Oh
people
yeah. You can do that as well. That's right. That's right.
show them how to do that and get rid of the menu.
If you come down to side by side 50, you can select that format and then come up to the menu where it says full. And when you click on that, it'll go full screen on your TV and remove the menu, remove the frame and everything. I don't know if you'll see that if I do a screen share.
And then if you mouse up
Oh,
there,
you
does
will.
the
Okay.
start to appear again or something?
Yeah, so you can put this on your 3D TV and then set your 3D TV to side by side and view all of these directly that way. And then if you go to the top, you'll get a little X that you can click that'll bring you back out to the main screen. When the category is finished, just click the return button and it'll take you out here. You can go back to the page and select the next category.
And the key thing is that the images have been loaded in the order in which they will appear in the competition. And I will try to tell you, well, actually, each time I've read the score, you'll know that I'm going to advance on to the next one. So if you want to play along at home and keep up, because once you click on that HTML5 gallery, you may not, depending on how you've set it up, you may no longer see the Zoom thing. So, but you'll know every time I read a score, I've advanced to the next one. And maybe I'll even say what we're looking at once in a while as a reality check, just so people know. Yeah, it's the one with the bridge, not the one with the little girl or something like that.
And the galleries will stay online after the meeting too. So if there are any images you want to revisit, they'll always be up on the website and you can go back and see them.
And so they give you the option of just about every conceivable viewing format. I'm going to be showing them here in the Zoom window in an anaglyph format. So if that's amenable to you, you can just go straight from this. And I want to say a couple of words about that because we've been using this method for well, since we started doing these Zoom meetings, and I am not particularly familiar at all with anaglyph. But Gordon, who I just mentioned, has just joined the club and just entered the competition, said an interesting thing to me a couple of days ago. He said, well, hey, how about if I send you a second set of my images that you'll, not for the judging, but only for display during the meeting that have been specifically optimized for anaglyph. And at first I thought he meant, I'm just going to send you anaglyphs. And I said, well, that doesn't work. I'm showing side-by-side pairs to SPM. And so I don't want to drop out of the program showing anaglyph. But then he finally managed to make me realize what he was saying was, no, I'm going to send you a side-by-side pair, but one that has been optimized to be viewed as an anaglyph through SPM. And that's what he did. And then when I saw that, and he also sent me a link to a video he's done on optimizing anaglyphs, which is very useful. And maybe Gordon, maybe you wanted to throw that link right in the chat right now, as a matter of fact. I learned a bit and I went through very quickly last night and tweaked probably about a third of the images to make them more amenable to anaglyph, although I used the Suto anaglyph version, because if you get into Stereo Photo Maker, you'll notice there's several different color anaglyph possibilities. And I'm not sure if that was necessarily the best one or not, but that's what I used. And so I thought, God, this is great. I mean, they look way better than they looked before. And I was so happy until Gordon made an even better suggestion to me this afternoon. And he said, don't do that. Why don't you go through every image, view it in the various anaglyph methods, find the one that works the best, and then just save the anaglyphs. So in other words, instead of using Stereo Photo Maker at all, you'll have saved anaglyphs that you'll then run through. And if one uses pseudo and another one uses Dubois to get the best results, you always get the best one. And like that blew my mind because of course I'm so used to using Stereo Photo Maker to display the images that the idea of doing anything else just hadn't quite occurred to me. So all I can say is you'll see better anaglyphs tonight than you've seen in the past, but they're still far from perfect for a variety of reasons, mostly being that I don't know what the heck I'm doing with them. But maybe in 2 months, assuming we're still meeting this way, they'll be even better. And it's thanks to Gordon. So thank you very much. And let's get rolling. I'm going to share my screen. And so obviously these have already been judged. I'm going to show them and then read the scores. And then after we've seen everything, we're going to attempt to do the theme judging here live online. And you will be participating on that if all goes well. So here we go. What happened there? There we go. And so hopefully everybody's seeing this full screen. It looks good. And
We're
I don't know
actually
if- what?
we're seeing your taskbar at the bottom.
Okay, so how the hell do I get rid of that?
Did you share?
Oh, I
your
didn't go
screen,
full
or did
screen
you
in
share-
SPM. Hang on,
Yeah.
maybe I didn't maximize SPM. Thought I had.
That's it. You got it. Oh,
um,
you had it for a moment.
Hold on, maybe I didn't hit enter in SPM. It's the active window.
That's it. You got it.
Okay, I guess when I look on my monitor screen, it's another Zoom session that has its own taskbar on the bottom, so it's obscured what's on the bottom. Okay, we're good. And now tell me when that obnoxious window pops up about the screen share thing. And I have no idea what to do about it, but I'll try. And hopefully you'll notice that this anaglyph, which has a blue background, which is the absolute worst thing for anaglyph, looks relatively okay. It could be better, but this was a very quick and dirty attempt. And like I said, thanks to Gordon's advice and ministrations. All right, so, oopsie. Once again, as always, did I make a little, what is this little navigator thing? I don't even know what I hit to get that. Are we good?
Yes.
Okay, yikes. How many things can possibly go wrong? We, as always, have 3 different categories. Standard, which is 3D images made with a camera. Computer generated, which we don't have tonight. And modified, which are 2D to 3D conversions of artwork that is not created by the entrant, but is converted. And we have 2 groups. And finally, we actually have advanced and beginners in both categories. So again, this is a big night for us. And our scoring system is 5 through 9. I think it's relatively self-explanatory. So let's do it. All right. Hopefully you are all now seeing the first image. A couple of guys on a skyscraper. Is everybody seeing that?
Yes.
All right, good. Here we go. Judging. 7, 6, 8, 21. Let's see, can I get you, I'm just trying to see if I can get you up, Eric. So, yeah, I do. You're a second. Give me the nod, even though I'm seeing it. Let's have it fail safe.
Okay. Yeah.
You should be looking at
There's
Royal.
not a way we can get Lawrence to read these.
I should have sent it to him. I could have. I've had the scores since last weekend.
In future, I need Lawrence to be reading.
That's a great idea. Yeah, actually, that's a very good idea. 7, 7, 8, 22. That seems to be a very big lag between when you see him and when I see him, Eric. 7, 7, 7, 21. 8, 7, 5, 20. A bit of a diversity of opinion on that one. 7, 6, 6, 19. 7, 7, 6, 20. 7, 9, 7, 23. 7, 6, 7, 20. 6, 5, 5, 16. 7, 8, 8, 23. 8, 6, 6, 20. I'm very proud of the work I did on this one with the anaglyph because the lights are blue and they were completely blocked by the red lens in the original. The fact that you see them all, I consider a great accomplishment. Did I read the score on that? I think I did, yeah. Six,
We're
7.
seeing your notification pop up.
Yeah, how the heck do you, oh Christ, is there any possible way to get rid of that idiocy? Teams has a very, hopefully that little blue bar is going to go away. What can I tell you? Oh, you know what? Well, hang on, let me drop out and see if I can close such a thing. Sigh.
I think I lost my place. When you start up, can you say what?
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly. Yeah, in fact, I should have been doing that. Sorry, that was lax of me. Okay, are we back? And are there any weird, obnoxious?
You look
things?
good.
It's good. Okay, you should be looking at a bowl sitting on a table, and it is 6, 7, 5, 18. And if all goes well, now you should be looking at something called the Tokyo Chef, and I think it will be quite obvious to you if you are on that image or not. 7, 6, 7, 20. 6, 5, 6, 17. 6, 6, 6, 18. I was waiting for Lawrence to unmute. He's disappointed us greatly. 6, 6, 7, 19. 7, 6, 6, 19. Should be looking at Hodgson Water Mill, and it says that on it, so it's an easy one to identify. 8, 7, 7, 22. 7, 7, 6, 20. 6, 6, 7, 19. 8, 7, 8, 23. I'm really patting myself on the back on these anaglyphs. They look way better on my LCD screen than they did on my desktop where I created them. Should be looking at a very close up of a flower now. 6, 8, 7.
Cactus.
21. Yeah, but it's a. Oh, yeah, you're right. It's not the flower at all.
Okay.
Much from my fading eyesight. Whoa, scary. Mr. Magoo. 6, 6, 7, 19.
God.
6, 5, 7, 18. 7, 8, 6, 21. 8, 878 23. 867 21. Did I mention the theme was reflections? 655 16. 757 19. 555 15. 766 19. 767 20. 878 23. 999 27. 768 21. 877 22. 557 17. 657 18. 656 17. 667 19. 778 22. I like how when we're doing these virtual judgings, the judges always arrive at their scores very quickly. 887 23. 766 19. 868 22. 677 20. 666 18. Okay, that concluded the standard category, and now we're going to see the modified. Seven, 7, 9, 23. 9, 9, 7, 25. 7, 7, 8, 22. 9, 7, 7, 23. 5, 6, 5, 16. Let's see, hold on, maybe, yep, there we go. 8, 9, 7, 24. Okay, that concludes the regularly scheduled portion of our broadcast. And now we are going to judge the theme award. First of all, let me cue those up, and then I will explain the incredibly complex and labyrinthine method which we intend to employ to get those. And in the meantime, I'm also going to write the numbers. I think there's, hang on, actually, let me look at that again. This was an extremely popular category. We have 27 entries. Is that possible? I guess it is possible and horrifying. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at all these once, and then we're going to go back through them a second time, and you will vote on the one and only one image you like the absolute best. And if all goes well, there will be a single image that receives the largest number of votes. And if all doesn't go well, we'll have some sort of a runoff. So how are you going to indicate your vote, you might ask? And I'm going to attempt to tell you. Depending on which version of Zoom you have, there are a couple of different ways you're going to do this. You might have, in fact, actually, what I really should do probably is go back to that version where you can see the bottom of my screen. But you will either have a thing called, why do I not have that here all of a sudden? I thought I had it earlier because I'm no longer the host there. Okay, you will either have a thing called reactions at the toolbar on probably the bottom of your screen. And if you look at that, if you click on it, you should get a few different icons, a clapping hand, a thumbs up, a cryingly happy face, a surprise face, various other things. You can use actually you can use any one of them, but let's assume you're going to use the clapping hand as the thing you will use to indicate the one you like the best, the one and only one. Alternately, if you don't have that, if you go to participants, there's another menu selection at the bottom of your screen called participants. And that should, if you click on that, that should open up another sub window. And at the very bottom of that, you'll have things like yes, no, go slower, go faster. Sounds like something my wife says to me sometimes. Anyway, the yes is the only one we'll use.
Well, then why don't we use the yes in the reactions as well?
Because I don't have one, but if you have one, where do you see? Oh God, you're right. I didn't even realize those other things were. The only reason we might not is the thing we haven't firmly established is how sticky these are. In other words, it seems like the program clears these off automatically. So I'm going to tell you to vote in each case, and you need to register your vote immediately. And I guess I ultimately don't care which thing you use, although it's more convenient if you all use like the yes. Let's assume everybody's going to use the yes.
If we all use the green yes, you should get a single count
Right.
of all the
Right.
green
In fact,
yeses.
I'll tell you what, let's try it right now, folks. Everybody click their green yes, and I'm going to see what I get. I'll tell you, if everybody does it, we've got 44 participants. We'll see how many people are actually getting to vote. So far, I've got 17 folks. And you got to be quick.
I think everyone else is asleep.
You got to be quick. Because like I say,
I-
it clicks off.
David, I'll get you the tally. I saw 27.
I've got 19 showing on mine. How horrifying. Let me see. All right, you will be our official tabulator on
Yeah,
most.
mine only says 19 too.
And what are you seeing, Eric?
On mine it went up to 27.
Briefly. Okay. Well, we'll do the best we can.
Are those totals only visible to the host?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's why
So we will count every legal vote if we feel.
Yeah, I will. Now you'll need to clear it.
Yeah, I need to clear it. Okay. All right.
Can we do one test with the clapping hands? Because 27 out of 44 is not good.
Yeah, I know. Okay, go for it. Be my guest. Give the other than I don't have a clapping hand myself on this computer.
I think that's because you're the host.
Now, one person raised their hand and
Yes.
24 people clapped their hands.
There's always a joker.
Now, we do have a lot of people
Yeah,
who
they are
doing,
disappearing very quickly.
All right. Yeah,
That
So
didn't
no,
work.
bear with me here. There are 44 participants, but not everyone is voting. Some people are on phones. Some people have logged in, but they're not active. So,
so what do you want to go with then, Eric?
let's go with the green yes.
Okay.
It seemed to work well. You'll just need to clear it
Yes.
between each thing, and I will give
I
you the
do
total
this.
count.
All right. So again, I'm going to show you 27 images. You are not going to vote. You are going to watch and consider, and hopefully one of them will jump out at you as the absolute favoritist, bestest. And then when you see it the next time, you will rapidly vote for it when instructed to. And if all that comes together, we might have a winner emerge. I'm making no promise. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start looking at images. I'm going to go through them relatively quickly, given the extraordinarily large number of them. Once again, these categories were suggested by Carl Wilson at the beginning of the year, and all I can say is he seems to be good at finding categories that are very much more popular than the ones that I've ever suggested.
Is Carl here tonight?
I thought I saw him at one point. Is he?
Carl,
Carl,
you're
where the
here?
hell
Can
are
you
you
chime
from?
in?
We lost him. Yeah, I don't see
Wait
him.
up there. He moved to the Midwest.
Yeah, there you go. He probably had to be tucked in. All right, I'm showing you images. This is the first one. Well, why is this not advancing? Hang
Are we
on.
voting now, or are we going to look at them once and then vote?
Okay, so this, hopefully you're seeing the cactus. Yes.
We're going to run through the whole list
Yep.
once.
Yes.
And then we'll go through them one at a time, and you only vote for the one that you
Again,
want to win.
Here's number one. Number two. Number three.
And remember, it's the image that most embodies the theme reflection.
Number four, us voted on by the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. What can I say? I should have,
What number is this?
I have no idea. And now I realize I should have printed out a set of thumbnails of these, and maybe I'll do that real quickly before we do the judging. And the theme is reflections, dare I remind you. Very interesting to see the wide range of interpretations this elicited.
Dave Heiser made a good point.
Hmm?
He says that the raised hand is actually persistent.
I thought we just tried that and it didn't work.
Yeah, it wasn't persistent.
No, you tried the clapping hands.
Oh, hold on. Then I don't know that I have a raise. When we do that, when I get to the end of these.
If you're the host, you don't have it.
Okay. Well, that certainly explains it. All right, then. Yeah, because I thought we tested that beforehand, and then it seemed like now suddenly it wasn't working.
Yeah, I don't have it either.
And is it that because you're also a host?
Hosts and
Probably.
co-hosts, right?
Okay,
Hosts and
well, that's-
co-hosts don't have it.
I have one on my other one.
All right, we don't need to vote. Although actually, I'm not a host on. Yeah, it's all terribly confusing. Oops, I got a little crazy there. Okay, was this the first one, right?
That's the first one, yes.
Okay, yeah, let me just hold on. Sorry, I just wanted that. Okay, so I'm going to go back to it. This is numero uno. So we will begin the. Hopefully, you guys all have the memory and attention span to have kept all of those. In your mind.
Again, are we doing the raised hand or the yes?
Eric, you take it, or whoever. Explain it. I have no idea what I'm doing.
We're doing
Either
the
one,
raised
right?
hand.
We can
I
have
don't-
both.
I don't have a raised hand and I'm not a host. I have a clapping hand, I have a thumbs up, no raised hand.
Yeah, that's it. I didn't have a raised hand even into the best.
You do need to go to the
I-
participants tab. This is not under reactions.
Well,
Well,
it depends on the
It
version.
depends on
Yeah.
it depends on which
That's
version
it.
of Zoom you
Oh,
have.
okay.
That's the problem.
You need-
a device.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Or at
went
least
over this
some.
before the meeting and we found
you
different
either
versions have
need
different.
you either need to open the participants panel by going to the bottom and clicking the participants button, or you need to go to the reactions button at the bottom and see where you have the raise hand.
We're working on this. We're still working the bugs out of this one.
The
All right, I'm
problem
gonna
is,
run through these bad
Just do
boys.
something.
once
Yeah.
you open the participants window, it's there on the screen in front of your image. That's the problem I have with it. But if we do a thumbs up, you'll understand, right?
We'll do the
Don't
best.
tell you what, in
I
that
don't
case,
know.
let's use the green yes and I'll count them.
Yeah, we probably need to go to the, what's the thing, the clapometer thing where you do it by the volume.
We'll use the green yes and I will count them as they come in.
So this is it. Ready, set, vote. If you like this one more than everything, vote on it now. No's are not counted. Who's the joker in here? Put that here.
What?
I cleared
We
it
got
out.
one. We got one.
Negative
for this
one. Okay. And then I got to go faster. Okay. That's
No, you gotta go
Everybody-
slow because there's lag.
okay. All right. I am about to queue up, I believe.
Next.
I thought I was going to the next one, actually. Hold on. Why am I not? There we go. Okay, it's gonna pop up. Ready, set, vote.
None.
Okay. Ready, set, vote.
We only vote a total of one time, right?
Yeah, and to try to manage that. I know that's a lot for you to.
Yeah, none for this one.
Okay.
Moving on.
I got nothing. Okay. Ready, set, vote.
One vote.
All right. I'm like what I'm hearing.
Vote early.
I'm just happy it worked at all. I'm so excited about that.
We think it's working.
Yeah. Ready, set, vote. We are not. Oh, okay. Woo. We have a
We are
winner
at-
so far too.
We are at 2 votes. Yes.
Yeah, that's the winner so far. Oh, hold on. Whenever I click off of that darn window to clear, what did I just do there? I got a little crazy. Why is it? There we go. Ready, set, vote.
Moving on.
Not seeing any love. Ready, set, vote.
We've got 2 votes.
Oh, okay. I only saw one. I'm glad you're looking at these things. Ready, set, vote.
Moving on.
On your mark, get set, vote.
One vote.
Are you tabulating this, by the way?
Erica's.
Are you writing this down, Eric?
No, I'm announcing it.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. I'm a complete moron. I haven't written down a thing. Oh, sweet Jesus.
I
got a little.
That's okay. Well, hopefully.
Yeah,
I think it'll be obvious.
Yeah. Keep
I
keep
hope.
going.
If it's
I'm not
no,
sure it will be. I'm not at all sure it will be. Ready, set, vote.
We should not be trusted.
Well, I just want to know what got the, does everybody remember? what
Moving
got
on.
the two? Because so far the
Moving
two
on.
is the winner. So, ready, set, vote.
Moving on.
On your mark, get set, vote. Uh-oh, somebody took it back.
One vote.
Oh, it disappeared.
One vote.
They took it back.
I don't.
On your mark, get set, vote.
Wait, I didn't get to vote on that one.
Tough luck.
The last one.
Yeah, I know. You're out of
One
luck.
vote.
Well, I was looking at the other
Sorry.
That-
You
that-
lose, Junior.
included in the Edge to ML5.
All right. Okay, we got up to 2. I'm going to write that down because this is a top guy so far.
This is the third image that has 2 votes for it.
Oh, good.
Right.
Thanks, Jeff, for saying that now. I hope you know which ones they are because we're going to be coming back to you in a minute.
I do. I'm not scared.
Thank the Lord. I have no clue whatsoever of what I'm doing here. I got a little crazy. Okay, on your mark, get set, vote. Shall I remind you that the theme is reflections?
Moving on.
Oh, Christ. Okay. On your mark, get set, vote. Look, you guys have got to wake up soon here. Well, oh, okay, this got 3, right?
Ooh.
I've got 5.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, it's problematic because I'm not seeing the right scores here. Yeah, I should have had you tabulating because I'm not seeing the scores properly.
Well, I think there's a lag.
Yeah, I don't know. I never see them. I never see them.
We're
I
at
saw
5 on this
4
one.
on that one. So
Yeah,
this is
so-
the top vote getter so
Right.
far.
Okay, on your mark, get set, vote. Dropping
We've
this
got 2.
Popular with this crew. On your mark, get set, vote.
Moving on.
On your mark, get set, vote.
1 vote.
Oops, sorry about that. I got a little crazy. Ready, steady, vote. Was this the last one? Possible.
1 vote.
I think. No, it is not. Okay, I got crazy. On your mark, get set, vote.
You didn't clear the votes before this
All
one.
right. I didn't. Okay, there we go. On
So
your mark,
give
get
them to
vote.
count again.
Do it again. The one person who I saw vote for.
Moving on.
All righty. 1, 2, 3, vote.
1 vote.
All righty. Yeah. All right. Well, it's a learning experience. One, 2, 3, vote.
2 votes.
Oh, that's interesting. I do not see them at all over here.
Me neither.
Okay. Well, that's now we know for the future that I don't do the tabulating. Vote. So 1. What'd you get, Eric?
Well, there's 1, but it's a no vote.
I know. Yeah, that always is. Nobody's really doing that like that.
So moving on.
On your mark, get set, a vote.
This is up to 6.
Holy moly! I'm seeing none of that.
I see 3.
Yeah, I see dead people. All right. Well, we're going to go with Eric as the arbiter of this. Okay. The good news is we may actually have a clear winner, which is my true hope. Ready, steady, vote. Of course, if we add up all of these things,
Moving on.
I'll bet you if we add up all these scores, it's like 3 times as many people as we have in the meeting, but let's not even get into that. On your mark, get set, vote.
2 votes.
Okay, yeah, I'm not seeing the correct scores. Okay, so that's an interesting data. Hold on, how do I get off of this? Why that's not going anywhere, I don't know. There we go. I believe this is the last one. On your mark, get set, vote.
And moving on.
Okay, I believe that was the last.
I think there were 2 that seemed to have a lot of votes.
We had a very clear winner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With 7 votes. The next closest had only 5.
Right, and let me just show you which one I'm pretty darn sure that is, and that was this, right?
Yes, this had 7 votes. This was the theme winner.
Okay, so let me tell you what that is, and then I will tell you the rest of the winners too, if all goes well. That was.
The Lindsey Graham is harkening back to a really ugly period of American history. And if you're going to stand in the way of the American people, then what the
Can people hear me? You need to unmute yourself.
David Kuntz is muted.
You're muted, Dave.
All
Yeah,
right.
David,
This is Maroon Bells by Lee Pratt, right, Lee? We
That's
lost.
correct.
Okay, you won the theme award. All right, you get a free trip to Alabama for that, I think. Prize. Okay. All right, now we're going to see the regular award winners. As I indicated before, we had a B group entrant into the modified category. It's first timer Gordnow. Came in with an HM, 22 points for Portal 2. And the award is the similar but different Portal 1, 23 points, also by Gordnow. Fabulous. And actually, Valerie, doesn't he get some sort of consideration as a B group first time entrant? Well, you'll tell us about that later.
This is not my image.
No, forget it. In the A group modified, the HM went to Jim Long. What a surprise. The Last Supper, 1507 Da Vinci Studio 2, 24 points.
That's excellent.
And with 25 points, the A group modified award went to Jim Long for Here, There, Everywhere, Anatoly Klapuch. Okay, moving into standard category. We have two HMs. They got 22 points each. The first one is Fractured by Gordnow. Cleaning up. And the other award, the other HM in the B group standard category by Andrew Park is Mount Baldy Aerial. The award in the B group got 23 points. Andrew Park's Los Angeles Downtown Aerial. Fabulous. Now we had a little bit of judicial compression, as I call it, in the A group. We had 4 images that got HMs with a score of 23. So there's 4 of those. The first of them is Karma by David Heiser. Next, an image that might look familiar to you, Maroon Bells by Lee Pratt. Our third HM is Duck Crossing by Susan Pinsky. And our final HM, Chola Spikes by Barry Rothstein.
Sure, yeah.
The award in the A group, the rarely seen but much deserved perfect score 27, Rippling Sands by our own Abe Pearlstein.
When have we had a perfect score before? That's amazing.
Never in human history.
been a long time.
Yeah, at least 2 months.
Abe, where is
Really?
that? I think I knew the answer.
I don't know.
This is Oceano Dunes in Oceano, California. It's just south of Pismo Beach.
Yeah, the significant thing is that this got a 27. The next highest scoring image was 23. You might have noticed that these judges were tough. They handed out 5s like candy. So
I'm glad I didn't enter my makeup.
yeah, it was
size.
brutalized.
That's,
It was a real body blow. And to this one. So it's interesting that that they all agreed, all 3 of them not only agreed that they liked this the most, but that it was utter perfection to top it
What
all.
is a perfect photo?
Well, I'll just tell you, it's a conversion to black and white, and it was shot with a single camera, and the stereo base, because I was only about 6 inches above the sand, was about a ½ an inch.
Well, you did it right. You done good.
Thank you very much.
All right, I guess I will return control of our broadcast to whoever
Okay.
is doing the next thing.
Let's see, what did we decide was next? Pinhole?
No, Starkman, I thought. Oh, no, maybe.
No, I think it's pinhole. Eric,
I thought we
take it
were
away.
doing that. Is that true?
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. I thought it would be interesting to invite. I'm going to try to get his name correct. Dominik Ashkovsky. Dominik is an architect, a stereographer, model builder, and product designer based in Munich, Germany, and Krakow, Poland. After photographing architecture and stage design models in 3D, he started developing stereo cameras and stereoscopes. Most of the prototypes that he made were laser cut out of MDF, and Dominic says he's in search of the grain and bokeh in the depths of spatial photography and with analog stereo slides of high resolution pixel pairs. So he currently has a project on Kickstarter he calls the Menuda Stereo, stereoscopic pinhole camera. It's his first commercial project, currently live on Kickstarter. And the last time I checked, he hadn't hit his goal yet, but he was getting close. Let me take a look and see where he is. Now, we invited him to speak, and he said he would love to. And then he realized that he's in Munich, Germany, and our meeting didn't even start until 7 o'clock, which was 3 a.m. his time. So Dominic has sent a video because he felt that he might not be coherent at 4 in the morning in Germany. It looks like he has $23,713 of his $27,506 goal. He has 111 backers. He's still got 18 days to go. So we're going to run Dominic's presentation, and then I'll put the link to his Kickstarter in the chat. So if anybody is interested in checking it out, you'll be able to. So I'm going to share my screen. And everyone should be seeing a white screen now. There are some stereo images in his presentation. They are parallel pairs. So if you have the capability to either free view parallel or a viewer for parallel, that's what you'll need to be able to view the 3D images in this presentation. So without further ado, I am going to run Dominic's presentation. And please, I would ask everybody if you could mute your microphones. I hear somebody. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me tonight. I feel very honored that there is interest in my work in California. Unfortunately, right now it is 3 a.m. here in Germany, so I cannot guarantee you a good talk. So I decided to pre-record my speech and to go to sleep. I hope you don't mind watching a video that is only a few hours old. Of course, I will also record the entire meeting and watch it tomorrow. So first of all, don't worry if you have problems pronouncing my surname. My family comes from Poland. Oczko is the Polish word for small eye. Oczko stereo stands for binocular vision. Being an architect, I learned how to design buildings in two-dimensional drawings. You have plans, then you draw elevations, and sections that try to implement depth with shadows. But at a certain time, there is no other way but checking your work in three-dimensional space. Making physical models is still the only way to prove your design in physical space and under real light conditions. But there is one big problem. A normal photograph of a model or even of a ready-built house just cannot represent spatial qualities in an adequate way. This is how I came to stereoscopy. Only 3D photography can show the depth of architectural space. So I started capturing light and space. This is the Munich Orangery by Ludwig von Sckell from 1816. There is this characteristic half vault and big windows facing the south. Sunlight is filtered by the reed blinds. It creates this beautiful, delicate, soft atmosphere. So I made a model out of cardboard to better understand this place. It was designed to be photographed from one side only. But with real sunlight, I was able to reproduce the mood of this space. I made this model to determine how it would be to live in this orangery. After that, I made a small series of stereo images, in which small-scale furniture made nature inhabitable. Back then I made these pictures with one single camera on a slider, struggling with the wind in the leaves. At the same time, I've made my first Kaiser panorama or photoplasticon for an exhibition at art school. Visitors could view 8 stereo pairs enlarged on photographic paper. The white umbrella was a good diffuser for natural light. To study the physics of light, I started to build my first stereo cameras. This one is made with slits, generating abstract but spatial images. The first stereo pair I took doesn't have a lot of depth, but reminds me of the view out of the window by Joseph Nicephore Niepce, the first photograph ever taken. I learned to appreciate the texture of analog grain. Then I exchanged the slits for self-made pinholes. After that, I bought 2 lenses with shutters on eBay to construct a camera with a focusing mechanism. Unfortunately, I've developed only one single roll of film before this camera burned in a fire. So I didn't have the chance to eliminate the light leaks and to optimize the focusing. In this stereo pair, there's this interesting 3D light leak grid in front of my bicycle. So before I could get another pair of these lenses, I tested this old camera. It is an Agfa Isolar from the 1930s, making excellent photos. So I mounted it on a slider to make sequential stereos. This is a collage made with the same single camera moved sideways. The pictures made with the Isolar have this crazy long format, originally designed to be 9 by 11 centimeters. Finally, I gathered all the elements to construct Metopa stereo. Large format lenses, 2 ground glasses, Mamiya film cartridges, and an adjustable Y cable release. Metopa Stereo is a 3D bellows camera that allows independent movement of any of its elements. Convergent shift saves film while framing stereo pairs. By rising the lenses or the film plane, keystoning can be eliminated in architecture photography. The only deficit is a minimal stereo base of about 12 centimeters. The Graphlog packs allow to attach the ground glasses, the viewfinders, and the medium format film cartridges. The cable release was adjusted by analyzing recorded sound waves on a computer screen. This way I could achieve quite good synchronization. All the pictures taken with Metopa Stereo have a 6x7 portrait format, which I really like for stereos. Then I went digital. After some rather disappointing experiences with the Fuji W3, I wanted something more professional. So I took 2 full-frame cameras and mounted them on a slider. The mirrorless bodies and the interchangeable lenses allow a stereo base of about 7 up to 40 centimeters. Only the shutter is synchronized by cable release. All other settings need to be done twice. This project was the first one I photographed in digital 3D. It is the graduation work of Christian Blank. He made a real-scale model of an entire room out of cardboard. With this camera, I did also some commission work for architects. This amazing house with an internal concrete staircase is the work of NF Architekten. After some time, I connected the 2 cameras in a more compact way. With the 2 display loops attached, I can even preview with stereo vision. I know today's theme is reflections. I was too late to contribute to the competition, so I just will show you some of my examples. The resolution of the images is incredibly high, but I still needed to find an adequate way to view them in 3D. So I bought an old Carl Zeiss mirror stereoscope for aerial photography with good optics and placed 2 iPads beneath. This stereoscope gave me the best 3D I've ever seen. The resolution of the retina screen is doubled and shows pin-sharp images with brilliant depth of space. Imagine the quality of backlit medium format stereo slides, but mixed with digital accuracy. No distortion, no grain, no pixels, just illuminated vibrant colors. But the 2 iPads were not synchronized. So I've also developed an easy-to-use app for mobile devices. It can display stereo slideshows in variable speeds and is also suitable for high-resolution tablets. This is the 3D menu. The app is currently offline and is waiting for a relaunch. I envision a curated platform featuring ambitious stereographers. Then I designed a small stereoscope called Papuga Stereo. It is cut out of cardboard with a knife by a big machine. The entire set, including good quality acrylic lenses, can be shipped in a small envelope. You can insert your smartphone, but also view stereo cards. I used to enlarge my stereos on glossy photographic paper in a traditional photo lab. This way there is no raster from a printer. But preferably I construct things in a different way. Paint-coated MDF, a wooden composite material, is laser cut into high precision pieces. It allows me to construct lightweight but stable 3D equipment. So this is Emulsia Stereo, a simple but versatile stereoscope. First of all, you can view stereo slide pairs in front of a diffuser screen. For me, it is quite special to know that this is a completely analog process. You will view the exact piece of film that was exposed inside your camera. I provide special MDF slide mounts in different formats, but you can also use existing MF3D or RBT 35mm mounts. Whereas when you photograph on negative film or with a digital camera, you have the possibility to insert your smartphone. Then of course you can benefit from existing apps for auto alignment. For non-illuminated stereo cards, you can detach the glasses to get a lorgnette style viewer. The same way I constructed Minuta Stereo, a stereoscopic pinhole camera that is currently live on Kickstarter. This camera wants to make stereoscopy accessible to more stereographers so that anyone can easily try out 3D photography. It is the archetype camera doubled to be binocular. So in the front you see the 2 pinholes opened by pulling the shutter sideways. In the lower part you see the magnetic security lock preventing accidental exposures and a small window indicated that it is unlocked. On the back you can see the small magnetic window for advancing medium format film, the ISO and click indicator, and the aimer that can be exchanged for one of the viewfinders. I am proud to say that this is my first commercial project and the laser will be powered by green electricity only. Minuta Stereo has a human eye distance with a tiny convergence shift. The eye patch allows 2D photography but also sequential macros or hyper stereos. Inside the camera body, I tried to minimize internal reflections. You can use the bigger square mask for medium format film. Note that the pinholes are in the upper third of the frame, so in this orientation you will have the horizon at the lower part of your final image. When you load 35mm film with this mask, you will get a panoramic format. But you can also exchange the mask to get interlaced pairs on 35mm film. Now the rise of 1/3 is optional, so you can also use Minuta Stereo as a normal point and shoot camera with the horizon in the center of your frame. Here you can see an overview of the 8 formats you can produce. The rise and fall option determines the composition of the frame without tilting the camera. No keys turning will occur, even while photographing upwards or downwards. Minuta Stereo has a second tripod mount on its top. If you want to fall by 1/3, you need to turn the entire camera upside down. There are different viewfinders for each of the formats. To get the correct angle of view, you need to align the 3 beads inside the 3 holes. Only then your eye has the correct distance to the camera. For correct advancing of 35mm film, there's a clicker that will indicate by sound how far to wind. Minuta Stereo is available as a DIY construction kit or ready built. As the most important part, I give special attention to the pinholes. Every single pinhole is drilled under a microscope and has a diameter of 0.2 mm. The brass foil is 25 micrometers thick and gets burnished afterwards. So this is what you will get. Pairs on medium format and 35mm film are exposed with orientation marks. I actually think about removing them because they tend to be annoying when viewing the raw scans. Analog film is definitely back. Kodak is producing Ektachrome again. There is even a new kit from Cinestill that allows you to develop color reversal film yourself. So in the center you can see a new film by a brand called Adox. The Scala developing process will turn it into beautiful black and white slides. But of course you can also expose negative film and digitize it afterwards. As with any other stereo camera, first you will get inverse 3D. Only after switching the left and right images you will get correct stereo pairs. So this is the square format with medium format film. Note that the horizon is at the lower third of the frame. The pinholes have a decent quality. This is a negative film from Lomography with quite crazy colors. This picture I made while riding my bike. It is Fuji Velvia in a format which I used to call square, which is after cropping the sprocket holes. Some unexpected things happen and turn out so beautiful. Again, negative film. Another zoom in. And the panoramic format. To take pictures with Minuta Stereo, I used this basic equipment: a light meter, an exposure calculator, a stopwatch, and of course a tripod. Of course you can also generate wiggle GIFs. So if you like what you've seen so far and you want me to keep on developing 3D equipment for stereographers, please consider supporting me on Kickstarter. I want to say goodbye by showing you the campaign video. I'm sorry I cannot answer your questions right after this talk, but please don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you.
It draws you in. It creates this eerie, fuzzy feeling of cinematic realism. It's like stepping inside the captured moment. Hi, my name is Dominik Oczkowski, and I'm the founder of Oczko Stereo. Stereoscopy has been there since the early days of photography. Except for a small but vibrant community of dedicated stereographers, nowadays the art of 3D photography is largely forgotten. It is my dream to bring this magic back to a wider audience, and that is why I've developed Minuta Stereo, a binocular pinhole camera. You can load any 35mm film as well as medium format to produce square images or panoramas. Each drilled pinhole is double-checked under a microscope and will produce sharp images. I've developed a new aiming method that works great with the interchangeable viewfinders. There's also a special feature for architecture lovers. With the optional rise and fall function, you can avoid keystoning without tilting the camera. The construction kit is laser cut out of an eco-friendly wooden material, but you can also get the camera already built. And yes, of course, with the eye patch closing one eye of Minuta Stereo, you can also use it as a normal 2D pinhole camera. When taking photos with Minuta Stereo, you can almost feel the light entering the camera and hitting the film. It's a slow and mindful 3D, mixed with the unpredictable nature of pinhole photography. You can share stereo photos online by generating wiggle GIFs or interactive Facebook 3D. But there's only one way to get the real immersive cinematic experience. Use a stereoscope to merge a stereo pair into a single 3D image. Emusia Stereo allows you to enjoy 3D photography in several ways. Frame your slide film for a complete analog 3D process. Use the high-resolution display in your pocket and auto-align scanned negatives. Or detach the lenses to view stereo prints. So you may ask, why no VR? I say stay true to photography, just add 3D to it. With this Kickstarter campaign, you can support me and make Oczko Stereo a long-lasting enterprise bringing stereo 3D to a broader audience. So get your Minuta Stereo now, expand your photography into profound 3D, and spread the word to grow the community of stereographers.
Is Dominic available? I saw he was on. I guess not. It's probably sawn wood. When you watch this, Dominic, we have very much enjoyed that. Eric, do you mind adding a bit?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that Dominic is asleep right now because it's rather late in Munich where he's located. He is logged in here. If you have any questions for him, you can.
I'm not hearing you, Eric.
You don't hear me?
I can hear him okay.
Steve, you can hear me okay?
Yeah.
I got it now.
Okay. I've put the link to his Kickstarter project in the chat. So you can visit there, and if you have any questions about his project, you can message him through the Kickstarter campaign. I just checked it, and it is at 86%. So he still needs to get about 14% more in pledges to be able to actually move forward. It looks like a really interestingly designed camera that can be used for a whole bunch of different things. And personally, I've backed his campaign, and I think it would be great as members of the 3D community if we support this project. And we also, I thought it would be interesting to have a discussion about pinhole stereo photography. I know there are a few club members who've been actively shooting pinhole. I see Jeff Amaral is here. Jeff, you've been shooting pinhole. What kind of camera have you been using?
Well, I started with a whole bunch of things. I started about 20 years ago with these Ben and Jerry tubs, and I put a really cool popsicle stick in the end with a rubber band. And that made it possible to go and shoot, really achievable pictures because the shutter speed was really close to about a 60th of a second. So you get a little motion blur a lot of times, but you'd get a really acceptable image. And I don't know if you could be able to see this. And you can kind of see that a little bit, but that's a picture of me with that pinhole camera 25 years ago or something. And I just got excited about it with stereo. What could we do? And my son went into 4th grade, and here in California, they used to get excited about teaching about the Spanish mission system throughout the state of California, like some sort of architectural history as well as some tourist history, So my son and I decided we would go out there and take some pictures of the missions, and we wanted to find a good way that we could replicate Carlton Watkins' pictures. He was an early stereo photographer. Maybe people have seen some of this cat's work. He took these pictures in the 1870s with a big giant camera, and they're super fantastic to look at. And he went through and documented almost all 21 of the California missions. What's super cool now is you can take your 3D camera to these locations and replicate those pictures because the buildings are still there and they've been renovated. So we went to look online with Google and said, okay, we're going to go to Google and we're going to go and find this building, which is a Watkins image. It's the San Gabriel mission, which is down the street from our house. And at the same time we were doing that, we was like, well, let's put together a camera. And so we built this camera out of the plastic. I was really excited that Dominic had done the same thing. And one of his architecture buddies had even made a whole room out of cardboard. This is plastic cardboard they call Coroplast. And so we just made this neat little shutter for the 2 pinholes. And then on the back, we cut it so that you'd be able to put a, you know, a standard 5x7 film holder there. I don't know if I have one here handy, but this takes a standard 5x7 piece of film. So if you put this in here like this, here's our picture that we took of the San Gabriel mission, if you can believe that. And I'm sorry about the shiny reflection, but so there's Watkins' original picture. Google Earth showed us where to stand and what to do. And then we took this picture with this camera, which is kind of fun. And then I've got a friend who's really excited about woodworking, and he set himself up a really nice shop in the backyard. So I was like, well, I don't have any woodworking tools, and I certainly can't fit any more crap in my basement. So I asked him to go and take our prototype and make it in wood so that we would be able to use the same thing. And I put some tape marks to show you where I might want to see. So I'm super impressed by watching what Dominic has done, because Dominic has really gone top shelf to make everything you possibly want to happen with one camera, which is out of control, fantastic. So, but there you go, you can see now. And then we have little magnets here on top of the eyes so that you can click it up and it stays, and which is kind of fun.
Oh, that's a great design. I like that.
And the back side, I put on these 2 little pieces are, you know, everything keeps being tested and redone. So I can actually mount my small GX1 Panasonic cameras on here and use them like digital backs, which is fun. I can also put a standard, you know, Kodak 5x7 film holder on here. I just use these as the prototypes in white, so I can make them out of wood. And then I found that I could put this mask in, and then it would make the final picture come out as a finished artifact out of the camera. And so I got super crazy excited about that, because I was just like, are you kidding me? That's what everybody wants, is to have the actual thing that comes out of the camera to be really cool. So I'll grab that out for you here so you can see what one of these looks like. Now, this was the pour test that we did, because I bracketed exposures, and then I decided, well, we'll paint in Roy Henry to see whether or not we can paint on the actual silvered paper. This is paper that's got an ASA of 3. And so it works just like Carlton Watkins' dry collodion glass plates, because by 1870, they'd moved into dry collodion, dry plate technology. And when I talked to David and Susan, they're like, well, you know, you can just reverse the images because they come up, you know, as a cross view pair in the camera because of the way the whole of the lens flips the image. So I just had to cut them apart and then, you know, put them back again together like this. But this is actual silvered paper. And so we decided, well, how are we going to develop that? And there's a really great way now to be able to develop these things. These pinhole cats in England started doing it with coffee. They call it caffeinol, where you can go and develop stuff with the acid in caffeine. And you mix it with a couple of other things. But, you know, it's completely environmentally friendly, non-toxic. The kids can do it. It's no big deal. So I talked to this chick in England. She was doing it with mint tea, which I thought was great, you know. And so the mint tea, it smells great, it tastes great. You don't feel bad when you flush it down the you know, wherever you're getting rid of it. It's, you know, we use it now as compost in the garden, which is great. But now here's a finished image that we took of the San Gabriel mission. So you can see this is the actual artifact that came out of the camera on the day. And that's cross view, I'm sorry to say, because this is how it came out in the cam. But it really, the picture and the developing process is super sexy. And when I put that mask in the back of the camera, I had a really nice frame. So the latest thing that really cracked my carrot, and again, I can't speak more highly of this guy, Dominic, you know, I was so blown away. David Starkman immediately sent me the link. He was like, dude, you got to check out Dominic. So I immediately went there and went, buy. Oh, it was terrible. Anyway, I'm supporting Dominic. But you see with the slider, this is a really great thing. When we went to Mission San Luis Rey, I took my my nice David, what's the name of the cat from Holland that did such a great job of putting all the Sonys together?
Oh, that's Jacob Van Eckeren.
Yeah. Van Eckeren. So I still have that, you know, the Sony P200 system that I bought from you that he had originally made. And that's really good because you can take a pair and then you can, you know, take whatever hyper setting you want, take another pair. But when you play back, you can instantly see whether or not you liked your hyper setting because you can independently choose which camera to look at when you're doing playback. They shoot at the same time, but playback is separate. So you have to push the arrow buttons to advance each piece. So you could put your camera right here and have exactly know that I want to be 3 inches. No, I don't like that. 4 inches. No, I don't like that. 6 inches. Oh, I like that. So you can get a really good hyper stereo. Well, that was great. How am I going to get hyper stereo? That's a great way. I can do that. But I still have this issue that I have to ruin the artifact that comes out of the camera. Boy, that really chapped me that I have to cut that thing in half because I just want to take it out. Literally 15 minutes later, we have a finished, developed image that just came out of the camera. So now I want to be able to go to a location, pull it out of the camera, develop it, and stick it right in a stereoscope. And that's where Denis Pellerin at the NSA convention that was Zoomed, I never would have made it. Thank God you guys Zoomed it. It's fantastic. But then it gave me the idea. He showed us those, the one camera that was a sequential camera. And by alternately opening one eye and taking the picture on this side and then sliding the camera and opening the opposite eye, you could very quickly get correct parallel views by doing a cha-cha so that the picture will be correct when it comes out of the camera. Holy crap, what a revelation that is to me. So I was like, immediately, I'm going to get this bar. I'm going to figure out how to make that go. That's the best thing I ever saw in my life. So then the last thing, well, how am I going to get the separate shutter? You know, I like how this shutter goes. This is fun, but I need it to be good and I need it to be sexy. And what if I wanted to do something else with it? So like Dominic, I went on to eBay and I got one of these old Polaroid printing shutters. Now that thing is fantastic, right? And so you can just crack that open so you can see what it's like. But now I can control the two eyes. So this was our test thing to put inside of this camera. So we could take a 2D 5x7 if we wanted to. And I got to get a second one to match it. It's a little tough to find ones that are actually accurate and working. This one's doing really good. So that's a good start. But the being able to have two of them, I can very quickly now move the camera, like literally within a second. I'm going to use my little 200s to be able to set the correct distance that I like, put stops on my bar, and then go click, clack, like this. 1, 2, click, clack, and I'll be able to have it perfectly. So just like asking somebody to stand there and take a cha-cha and be cool, I'm going to go freeze, chick, chick, and it's done. That's pretty fast. I was like, holy crap, this is the best thing ever. Now, I had to get the pinhole in there, and that was a little tricky. So I was on the job one day, and I talked to my friend Armin. And Armin recently got a 3D printer. They print a lot of camera parts because when anybody's dealing with the new tech, you want to make stuff to be able to attach to your camera, hold your monitor in a new way or what have you, you know? So I said, hey, Armin, I'm stuck. I got the second best pinholes in the world. And again, Dominic's are really good. I immediately ordered a pair of pinholes from the guy that gives them to Dominic because those look really nice under a microscope. These are for laser optics, and you can buy them. These are about $65 a piece. The most expensive pinholes in the world are $250 a piece for laser optics. So if you want to get really sharp image, you have to match your hole size perfectly to the distance to the film plane perfectly. And then in stereo, you want to be able to make sure that you can get the proper interocular distance, of course. But I wanted to hold that little tiny Johnny. That little circle in the middle is just like a little piece of foil. And this is a 450 micron hole. And you can get that at any size you want for $250. Me, I spent the $60 for two. That was $120, and I picked two that would match my optimum focal distance for my camera. And then I went to my buddy Armin, and he just 3D printed me the next day this awesome little sandwich that squeezes to release. You just put it in there like that. It sandwiches the pinhole. Can you see that? It sandwiches the pinhole, and then you just use little tweezers if you want to change the pinholes out to a different size. So that's where we're at right now with crazy pinhole photography we're doing. And we're just about to start all of our portrait tests because we're going to start doing portraits of people at the missions.
Very, very cool. It's so great that Roy Henry is interested in all of this too, getting the
Oh, I
next
like it.
generation.
Yeah. It just, the first time we took a picture was just fantastic because I had no idea if the T was going to work or what might happen or whatever. So the very first picture we took and we put into the tray and to actually see it come up under the safe light was just fantastic. What you got there, Andrew? That looks great. Oh, David's got one too.
And
Nice.
so let me ask you, Jeff.
Sure.
With the pinholes that you've got, that you had made, these $60
Yeah.
pinholes, what is the effective f-stop that you're dealing with, and how long are your exposure times?
On a bright sunny day, if you're in full sun, it's down to about 3 seconds. And as it gets overcast, or if you're in the morning or the evening, it can stretch up to 2 minutes. So if I just bought a pack of 100 speed black and white film because we can negative film. We can actually develop that with the Mint T as well. And that gives us the ability to do an outdoor sun print right there with just water and the sunlight and make an image. And we've done some tests of that and they came out great. The cyanotype is working exactly like you want to, you know? So with that 100 speed film, that's our next step because that'll get us down to stop action. That'll get us down to a 60th of a second. Wow. You know, like, holy crap. So the point is, I guess, is that these holes are better than Carlton Watkins lenses. You know what I mean? And like a lot of lens technology, right up until the 30s with the Primo and the Poco and whatnot, these holes are better. So like as a species, our ability to make a really fine hole has done so well as to make a proper lens that is just as good, if not better than what these cats have been doing, you know? It's impressive.
That's great. Has anybody else brought a pinhole camera that they'd like to share? David Starkman, you have one. Let's take a look at your pinhole camera.
I'll just show it. I'm afraid I can't show you the results because I only ever shot one roll with this. Oh wait, kind of dark in here. Hold on. Well, I call it the Swiss cheese camera, but it was available and it's made out of cardboard and you could order it. This was made by a company called 3D World in Switzerland. And it was a do-it-yourself cardboard kit. And the results, and it takes 120 roll film. It was cardboard, you put it together. Here's the cardboard shutter in the back. Oh, you used cut 120 roll film spools, became your winding rolls. And I'm not going to open it up, but on the back here, you see that's 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 printed. You could open this up to read through the red window the numbers on the 120 roll film. And, you know, loading it was kind of, you have to take it apart quite a bit to get it loaded. And you just sort of point and shoot. And my note on top, to answer your question, and you had to make your own pinholes. So it just came with 2 sheets of foil and you punched your own pinhole. And that's why the results are not particularly great because they're not that precision. But my note was that the focal length was approximately 62 millimeters, f 196, bright sun setting with ASA 100 was approximately 2 seconds. And I only ever shot one roll with it. It was mostly just a fun exercise to build it. And I chose, since it was from Switzerland, I chose the Swiss cheese design. And
Okay.
and that's it. So cardboard pinhole camera with homemade punch your own pinholes. And the results were soft, and I've lost track of where I put them. But I only ever shot one roll of negative film. But I still have the camera. It sits on the shelf.
Swap out those pinholes for sharp ones.
Sorry?
And I know. Oh, and I think Andy just said you should swap out the pinholes for sharper ones.
Yeah, I guess if I wanted to spend $120 and I have to figure out which ones give me a focal length of 62 millimeters. Then it would probably take better pictures.
I can tell you there was a group that made a magazine 20 years ago called the Pinhole Resource out in New Mexico. This cat Eric and his lady friend, but I forget her name now. I'm sorry to say. I want to say it was Susan, but I forget. But in any event, they still sell pinholes and some stuff, so that you can actually get a nice set of drilled pinholes from them in a whole bunch of different sizes to match the focal length of the whatever tub you're trying to turn into a can. And that's where I started with their pinholes, and they're great. And I got a whole bunch of really acceptable images. I just got insane trying to get sharper and sharper and sharper because I just wanted to see what could be done.
Well, maybe you could send me a link to or email
I will,
me
yeah.
to their
Yeah, if you
Let me
have
see if
it,
I
if you
find
could put it in the chat. Yeah.
I'll try to do
And
that
then
right now because they're great.
Does anyone else have a pinhole camera that they'd like to share?
Andrew has his
But I'll type in that pinholes, laser drilled pinholes, which are ridiculously precise, are very, very readily available from Edmunds Scientific and many other places. So they're extremely easy to come by. And if you get the laser drilled ones, they're ridiculously consistent.
Well, now what was kind of interesting in Dominic's presentation, he had some microscopic images of the pinholes that he's using compared to lasers. His were even sharper. He's having his drilled.
Yeah. I lost you. Stand by.
So I have a couple pinhole cameras to show.
I have a question for.
Yeah.
You have a 450 micron hole. What is the distance from the film to the pinhole?
I can't unmute. I've lost my ability to speak. Stand by.
We can hear you, Jeff.
Oh, you can? Oh,
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
bless you. Sorry to be chit-chatting over here to myself. I've been using 400 microns, and that's at 75 mil as a focal distance. So there's an optimum sharpness based on the size of the hole to the distance to the film. So you want to have your focal length be the thing that determines the size of the hole for optimum sharpness. And then the math gets a little bit fuzzy in that gray area. So you want to be able to really fine tune it. So I started off with a bellows camera and an old speed graphic, and we put it on there and we tried to at a bunch of different, focal lengths to see which one was working with our paper and our developing process to generate the best image. And that, a little bit of a trick, but it worked in the end. I'm real happy with the results so far.
Okay.
So a few years back, I recall Holga put out a plastic pinhole stereo camera with a marginal quality. And then I came upon this. This is a Japanese magazine.
Ooh.
Let me spotlight this.
Oh, ooh la la.
So this was a Japanese magazine, but what's interesting, it's a very thick magazine.
Yeah.
So you can see, it's a magazine with all kinds of pinhole camera information in Japanese, but it also comes with a kit to build a pinhole camera. So inside the box, it had all these parts. I have since assembled it, and it's a plastic pinhole camera.
Cut it out.
Wow.
And
that's great.
It works as a stereo camera and as a single pinhole. You can switch which pinholes you're using by flipping this little knob back and forth.
Wow, neat.
And little pop-up viewfinder. And then the shutter mechanism is this little tab here on the side. You can just pull it and lock it in to hold it open.
Great.
Or you can just pull and release for a quick exposure.
Wow.
And it takes 35 millimeter film. I actually haven't shot anything with this. But it's called the Gakken stereo pinhole camera, Gakken. It's several years old, but you may still be able to find it. This publishing company, Gakken, has put out all kinds of magazine model kits. I have another one of theirs that's a magazine all about a theremin, and then you can build a miniature theremin.
Great.
But I got curious a couple years ago. I got a 3D printer. And you were mentioning your friend who prints parts for cameras.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see if I could 3D print an entire camera. So I started looking around to see if anybody had posted a design for a stereo pinhole camera. And here, let me share my screen. I actually found at thingiverse.com.
But you would have to buy those excellent pinholes.
So at thingiverse.com, I found this. The Terrapin two-headed turtle stereo pinhole camera. And it was free to download all the model parts for this.
Wow.
See if they list the parts.
There's some holes in that camera.
So
You make it?
So I did some experimenting to find a 3D printer filament, a black filament that wouldn't let light pass through, and found one that seemed to work pretty well. And I 3D printed myself this camera.
Great. Oh yeah, it
Take
looks
the
great.
Lens caps off. So this is the camera. The shutters are independent, so I can do both shutters at the same time by sliding these and sliding it back. Or I could do that trick you were talking about. I could do one side and then slide the whole camera over and do the other side.
Great.
And what's kind of neat about this, let me takes 120 film.
Beautiful.
And the whole lens block comes off. So you can actually print different focal lengths.
Wow, great.
Just by extending the lenses.
Yeah, great.
And you can see it's actually this is inside the housing.
Beautiful.
And then for my pinholes, I was doing this all on the cheap. So I just took some aluminum foil, and I figured I didn't use a pin. I actually used a lancet, a medical lancet.
Wow.
Because they come in a defined diameter. I mean, they tell you the size of the lancet, and I figured that would give me a nice punched hole. I can actually, if I take my glasses off and hold this up, I can see pretty sharply through it.
I bet. Great.
It's got the red lens in the back, so I can see the film advance. And I just scanned a couple of the photos that I took with it. Like I said, it shoots on 120, so I got some 120 slide film. And
great.
I was able to mount it and put it into a 120 viewer.
Super.
And here I can share. First, let me share this, because this will just show you straight out of the camera what I'm getting. Okay, so there's the image, and you can see it's upside down because, of course, the image flips over. So when you turn this right side up, it's cross view. That's what you were talking about, because in camera, right side up images are recorded onto the film upside down.
And horizontally flipped. So
Yeah,
forcing
yeah.
the cross view.
So when I'm mounting them to put into the viewer, I just cut them out and I swap them and turn them over.
Right.
For the sake of showing it here, I put them into SPM.
Yeah.
And let's see, where did I put SPM? Here it is. Okay, so here it is loaded into SPM, and then auto aligned.
Ooh la la. Wow, and it's the tiniest little flare down there. That's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And then let me show you the other one, the slide that I actually have in there, because this was outdoor bright sunlight. I believe this was only 2 seconds.
Right.
I took the size that the Landsat was listed as, ran it through a pinhole to f-stop calculator.
Great.
It came out at like an f173.
Great. Like one of these I got for free in a box of crackers.
And then so I'm able to plug that into, I have a light meter app. I can plug in f173 and actually use the sensor on my cell phone.
Yeah, great.
And it tells me my exposure time, what my exposure time needs to be. So I did an indoor exposure.
Ooh. Wow.
I believe this was
I know where that is.
a 4-minute exposure, I think it was.
That came out really great.
Actually, one of the nice things on this camera is it's actually got a spot where you can, if you can see that, you can put a nut in the bottom so you can do a tripod mount.
Perfect.
So I was actually really pleased with how this pinhole worked. And again, it's totally free to download the model, and
that's great.
If you've got a 3D printer, you can make your own.
That's really great.
I'll put the link to this in the chat as well.
Great. And Eric, I got this Pinhole Master app that has been really accurate using my phone. I don't know if you can see the icon for it there. You see that silver icon right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Pinhole Master. It's been working great with our camera every time I change the pinholes out. And I was like, wow, that's great. It just uses your phone.
So I guess in conclusion, the thing that I find so cool about pinhole cameras, there's this resurgence of people wanting to shoot on film right now. And as Dominic said in his presentation, that's one of the things that inspired him to do a pinhole camera, is to make a film, build it yourself, do it yourself film camera available to anyone who's interested in doing it. So thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Dominic, and David Starkman. Thank you for bringing one as well. We can continue discussing pinhole cameras post meeting, but we should move on to our final topic.
Actually, I think we have 2 more things left. Before show and tell, we have, David Starkman is our archivist. He's our second longest serving member, along with Susan Pinsky, who's also the archivist. And Oliver Dean, I saw, was here, who's our longest serving member. Oliver, are you around? Yeah.
Oliver is definitely the longest. He's got
Yeah,
about
let me,
9 or 10 years.
Oliver, can you unmute?
We can't hear you.
He's muted.
That's okay. Anyways,
Okay, I'm the seventh. Unmute Oliver. Hit the space bar.
Oh, there he goes. Okay. Let's see.
There
I
you
got it. Okay, there we are. Yeah. Yes, I've been long, but not the most productive by any means. But I've certainly been there for a long while, and I really enjoy these meetings. So keep on going. Keep going.
yeah, we're glad to have you here, Oliver.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll have something to announce at the end, so I'll tell you about that later.
Okay, don't let us forget.
No, okay.
Okay. David Starkman, who's I think our second longest serving, along with Susan, is going to go through something on our archives.
1977. All righty.
Actually, we have to allow David to share, right?
You should be able to.
I should be able
You
to. The
can.
problem is
Yeah.
I've opened up share and I've got a lot of things open and I'm not seeing the screen that I want to share.
You may need to click. There's a little at the bottom right. There's a little thing that says show all screens in the share window.
No, I don't see that here. Show all.
You should have a little thing that's sort of on the right side that'll let you show all of the various windows you have open in that share screen window.
No, it doesn't.
Well, while you're working on that, I need to.
Along the bottom, it says share sound, optimized for video, and just share. But
No, in where you see all your windows,
yes,
the last one on the bottom right should say something along the lines of show all of your windows.
no, let's see. No, I'll hold here to select multiple. No, I don't.
I'll tell you what, David, what do you want to
Yeah.
share? And maybe I can go there.
Yeah, if you could go there, go to the. Usually, what I do is I go to the homepage.
Okay,
for
what's
the
the
club,
page?
for the Stereo Club, the LA 3D Club homepage.
Okay.
If you show that,
I went to Zoom. Sorry.
I got it. I can bring it up if you want me.
All
to.
right. Thank you, Eric.
Sure.
thank you, Eric.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Oh, 3D Day.
Yep. Anyway, go to the bottom. You go down.
What is this 3D Day?
Farther down. Wait a minute. So, stop right about there. So, right in the middle there, you see where it says LA 3D Club Los Angeles 3D Club Archives. It's why you know how to get there. So you click on that. And what I wanted to show you today, if you go over across the bar where it's starting with the home, at the other end of that bar where it says more, and go down to technical, how-to, and historical articles. And what I wanted to highlight today, if you'll go, stop there, is Charlie Piper's technical pages.
Oh.
And you have to click on that. It actually enlarges the picture. You have to click on the PDF symbol. So close this. And you click, yeah, there you go. So Charlie Piper was, he was the president of the club the year before we joined in 1977. So must have been, I think, in 1976, he was our club president. And for, I guess, approximately 107 issues of the 3D News, he would have a 1 or 2 page technical page. And in 1990, he compiled them all into an edition, and he did 4 different printings of it, and we used to sell it, and he used to give the donations, the money to the club. But now we've scanned the whole thing, and you can see it all for free. If you want to go down a few pages, there's a, this all goes back. So this, for those that are interested in film, and a lot of this still applies to, digital 3D photography, but just scroll down a bit. There's a lot of different articles on various topics, introduction to hyperstereo, projecting. I'm reading some of the things from the table of contents. Introduction to slide bar stereo photography. So that would be useful for digital. Here's what an actual page looks like, installment number 5, called Stereo Mounting from Scratch. So anyway, that's all I wanted to highlight today is these technical pages are there. There are a lot of topics. Many of them could be applicable to digital 3D photography, well, such as how to take stereos of the moon, for example. The slide bar page, things like here's advanced slide bar. So
is this PDF searchable?
It should be. I believe it is a searchable PDF. I don't know if.
Yeah, for some reason it's not. I have the resources. I can make it searchable. I could take any PDF.
I believe I already went through and did that, but if one of you wants to test it, it's supposed to be searchable.
Because
that's quite a long file name.
Very nice, 137 pages long.
Yeah, we used to charge for this back when I was with the club, so
Yeah.
it's a nice free resource.
Yeah. Well, I think we finally decided after so many years, we weren't going to sell too many printed copies. So,
yeah.
When
If
Charlie
anybody
was
wants printed copies, I still got a box of them in my basement.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I do. So if anybody wants a hard copy, they're awesome.
Oh, well,
I'd like one.
I would actually love one for the museum.
Great.
Yeah, are those for the club? Are they for the club to sell, or were they?
Yeah, they were for the club to sell, and there was a bunch of boxes of stuff in my basement. That was the last things that didn't get moved. I came across them just the other day during the quarantine because we finally started digging into stuff that was stored in the basement. So anyway, there's a box.
I think that's going to make our club solvent again.
Yeah,
Thank you,
great.
Jeff Amaral.
I'll bring him to the meeting.
Okay.
Where's the link? I can't find it. I'm on the archive site. What's the link?
Here, I'll go back to it. I'll show you. It's
The link is on the homepage of this.
on the archive.
Yeah, why don't you put the link in the chat if you can?
Yeah, if you want to put a link to it, I mean, it's a long name. That's why the easiest way is I tell people to go to the Stereo Club homepage, and there's a link right on it. I mean, that you can click on. Otherwise,
there's lots of good stuff there.
Oh yeah, there's my beginner's guide to stereo photo maker if you want a preview.
History of the Veriscope. That's where I'm going to be tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll highlight that another time. The history of the Jules Richard Veriscope is a great one. And there's a David Kuntz's practical guide for the 3D photographer. And we should add more stuff to this, but it's the beginning of this resource page. And even the original copy of the Stereo Realist Instruction Manual.
You can get to it very easily by just going to the club website, clicking on the archive right in the middle of the page. And then when you get to the archive site, go to more, go to technical how-to historical articles, and you'll land on this page, and then you can select the PDF.
Yeah, just remember, you have to click on the PDF symbol. Clicking on the actual picture actually just gives you an enlarged picture.
Okay. Sounds
Great.
good.
Thank you, David.
Thanks a lot. I like all the work you guys are doing, lots of work. I'd also like to mention the work of our competition director, David Kuntz, and Eric Kerwin, who puts together the HTML5, and all the work Eric does as a parent, and David Starkman, everybody. And now we're going to go to another very hard worker in our board, and that's Valerie who's also works with Teresa on the newsletter. So Val, you
Wonderful.
ready?
Sure am. Wonderful. Nice to see everybody tonight. And I want to give a big applause to Teresa, who took great ownership of this month's 3D news. And so did a really wonderful job on that. She is still allowing me, because she knows I like to work on the cover. And I hope it was okay, Eric. I used images from Dominique's website for.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
when
no,
you.
he was very happy that we were helping to spread the word about his project.
Oh, okay, great. That we didn't have time to ask ahead of time, but I figured since it's online, hopefully they'll be okay. Wonderful. Well, we have two people that would like to share something, and then I have a little something myself. Let's start with Steve Barrison.
I've been talking a lot today, so I'll make this pretty short. I just wanted to show my virtual reality camera. It's made by Lenovo. This camera was on sale on Amazon for about it was a little over $90. It makes very nice 180 degrees pictures for virtual reality. You put them on YouTube. It comes with a nice thing to do it. And what I found is I was trying to get some software to make the images a little better. And I found there was another camera that's out made by Views now. If you go to the Views website, you'll find that their camera, which is a 360 degrees 3D virtual reality camera, is now $199. And it used to be $400 or $500. It's still $500 at B&H. So one little clue, if you do go to their website, it's only $200 for a really good virtual reality camera.
Which one?
Views.
So with that Lenovo camera that you have there, what is the process? What software do you use to get the?
You use VR 180, which is a Google software, and then you put it in Stereo Photo Maker. So it won't even recognize it as a 3D picture until you go through the Google VR 180 software. So that kind of processes it, divides it into two photos. And then from there, you go into anything. It'll also work in Adobe Premiere for the video. So you can do the video, they have their own suite. And then the reason that I found out about this new camera is I tried out their software and it seemed pretty good as well. Their software was, and the camera costs like a fraction of the cost of any other software. And it included 5 software licenses. So it's a pretty good deal if you want to try virtual reality.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up. I've been following that camera for quite a while, and I ended up getting something different. But now at that price point, I'm going to give that a closer look. Thank you. Wonderful. And Jim Frazier, would you like to share something?
Yes, I wanted to show some imagery from a 16-foot tripod that I created, which if you go into your living room and get out your tape measure and lay out 16 feet, that is very tall. And you don't really want to go above 16 feet because it gets pretty scary at that point. So what I did, I'm going to try to share my screen here. Let's see if this works. Okay. Allow Zoom to share your screen.
Is it working?
Okay. Sorry, this is the first time I've done this on this.
That's okay.
Do I have to quit Zoom first?
No, you should be able to click the green share screen button at the bottom of Zoom.
Okay, let's see if it's working.
and
Oh,
then
okay, there we go. Okay. All right. So share. Okay.
There we go.
Are they seeing the tripod?
Are you seeing the tripod or the full picture? There,
Yeah.
you should be seeing the tripod hopefully here.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
That's right.
So this is a Manfrotto light stand. It's a 14-foot light stand. And so you can see all the releases you have here so that you can rise it up in the air. And then on top of it, I stuck a couple of 1-foot center tube extensions I had for some Benro tripods. And then at the very top, I've got a thing that I believe is still available on Steve Berzin's site. It's sort of for, you can attach lightweight cameras to it. It's got 4 little screws on here. I think it was originally designed for flashes. But anyways, it does the job. And I don't show the cameras here, but I had a couple of GoPro-like cameras on there, 4K resolution, 60 frames per second. So I was just shooting video. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you.
Stop share. And then
Okay, I'm going to stop share
go share again.
and then reshare.
So you get, yeah.
Fortunately, I have my tech support here. Okay.
Okay. So now it should be, this one's great.
So now you should be seeing the big picture. So the main thing that you get out of this is that this is like a 14-inch separation between the cameras. And you wouldn't be able to stand on the ground in this type of area and shoot with a 14-inch separation between the cameras. You'd have way too much depth and your eyes wouldn't be able to handle it. But when you stick the camera up in the air like this, suddenly you can do that. And you might ask, well, how stable does the camera have to be? It doesn't really matter. The camera was blowing around in the wind. I just grabbed a couple, I just hand synced the 2 cameras. I grabbed a couple of frames at the same time, roughly the same time. If there was a bird flying through the air here, I might have a sync issue. I might have to jump back and forth through some frames or something like that. But anyways, you can get some decent results. And I did it in black and white here just to simplify the whole anaglyph process. But I'm going to try to pinch and zoom here. I think this will work. So what you can see, I don't think Zoom's going to let me do
What
it.
if you just use the magnifying glass to zoom in?
Okay, so I'll use the magnifying glass. So you can zoom in quite a bit. It won't let me scroll or anything.
Use the mouse to scroll.
Oh, I'm used to a touch screen.
No.
And so this isn't work. This isn't allowing me to scroll or anything like that. But anyways, you can see that because you got the 14-inch separation, you've got quite a bit of depth going on here. And because of the large baseline, and yet it doesn't create any stereo problems. So anyways, that's it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Jim,
Really
Jim,
interesting.
I was wondering, have you considered maybe doing something to lower the center of gravity, putting a weight under the tripod?
Well, the tripod itself, it's a good question. The tripod itself, there's really nothing, it doesn't move around. The tripod doesn't move around at the base. But what you could do is you could run something like fishing line from the top of the tripod down to the 3 corners of the tripod, the outward corners. And that would stabilize it more. And fishing line doesn't tend to stretch. And so that would be a good way to do it probably. But adding weight wouldn't really do anything because the base doesn't go anywhere. Oh, by the way, I did add I taped on a bubble level on the base because I thought, oh, I should make it level. And so I brought out things to stick on the legs. It just doesn't make any difference. So don't
That's
worry
a
about
really
that.
good point. It's a really good point you made about being high up, getting away from objects that are too close.
Yeah.
Something you never really think about, but it could make a lot of shots that are unacceptable acceptable.
Right.
Yeah,
And
you truly are getting like a giant's point of view.
I mean, you could do something similar with a drone, but you can't fly drones everywhere. We're near an airport. You cannot put up a drone here. So although Andrew says that I can get permission, so I'm going to try to get permission. But
I can see where that would be really great when you're in a big crowd.
yeah, that might work very well, particularly if you use the fishing line as sort of a guy wire to stabilize everything.
I
So,
keep thinking 16 feet. That's like 2 Chewbacca's tall.
yeah, it's scary. It's really scary, and it's good that I have these tiny little cameras on it. And I wanted to go up to around 21 feet, and I probably have the extensions here to do it, but I just felt it was going to collapse if I got that high.
You may want to get in touch with Jay from the Golden Gate Club, because he's
Okay.
also, I recall he gave a presentation at 3DCon about a height extension system that he put together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that might be an interesting collaboration to take a look at.
I'd be interested in seeing it. I did run into a guy one time at an art fair, at a street art fair, who had a pickup truck that had a fairly sizable pipe that he would set up in the back of the pickup truck. And it was something similar. He got really good results. He was able to put, high-end cameras up there. With this, I would put nothing but, little action cams. Did you have something?
I'll see if I can find the link to his presentation, and I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, great. Thanks.
All right, wonderful. I also noticed inside the chat that Judd Neeson is having an event on his Facebook. I thought maybe some of you might want to check it out. It's an old-timey slideshow, and there's some information in there. So just wanted to draw some attention to that, because that is a show and tell as well, just not right.
Is Judd here? Or no? Yeah, I go see that.
Yes, I
it's
am here.
mostly 2D, but I try to see it, almost every day. It's a nice, if you're in, it's kind of the 50s quiche or kitsch thing. But Judd, you want to say a little bit about your show?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I sort of started it just because I've been collecting for 5 or 6 years now, and I'm a fan and friend of Charles Phoenix, and he sort of mentored me a little bit, and I'm not quite following in his footsteps, but because he's very specific to 50s, postmodern architecture and kitsch kind of stuff like that. But we sort of run the gamut of anything from 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s into the 80s sometimes. But I seem to collect these really decent collections from families that just either don't want them or have already digitized them and don't need them anymore, or there are no kids anymore to keep them going, and we weave these little stories around the slides and just have a good time. And it's about an hour each night, and I started it a year ago tomorrow when I kind of got put on COVID leave, and it's kept me fairly sane, except for the fact that I'm doing this every night like a lunatic. And yeah, so it's we've built up a nice little family of folks that come by most nights and participate, and it's we do it live. You can see some of the old all of the old episodes on the Facebook page, but it seems to be more fun when you do it live. And so yeah, I'd love to invite all of you or any of you who want to swing by, and like I said, I've been doing it every single night at 7 p.m. since last year, and we're going to go. My goal is I missed a few nights at the very beginning, so if I can make it to April 4th, that will actually be 365 days in a row. So that's my current goal, is to hit that at least, and then we'll see what happens afterwards.
Yeah, one of the cool things about it is it's like kind of high tech and low tech at the same time. He's using a slide projector with a projector view. So it's 2D, but you get to see the slides, you get to hear the slide projector go. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's fun. And now we've started to throw in some 8mm reels occasionally at the end if they go, if I got them with the family. So it's neat to see you see some of the slides, and then all of a sudden you're there in the film at the same location sometimes. So yeah, it's fun. It's, like I said, it's a nice little distraction from the otherwise doom and gloom of the news in the world. So
And you said it's a Facebook Live every night?
Yeah, Facebook Live. If you go over to OPS35MM, so it's other people's slides, and if you do the @ symbol, it's just at OPS35MM, and just go to the events page, and there each night it's got a little thing, and if you sign up and say you're interested or you're going, it'll alert you when we go live. It's Steve was saying it's sort of high tech and low tech. I'm very low tech. I barely know how to get the live thing going, and I don't have it set up through any kind of computer or anything. It's all right through my phone. So they won't let me give it a URL to give to people, but it will ping you when we do go live if you type that you're interested. Yeah, you know what? I can put a link in the chat. I should do that. I'm sorry. I should have thought of that. I got to go to the computer to do that. So yeah. So anyway, it's a lot of fun, and I think you guys are fans of a lot of things photography beyond the 3D world. So I figured you guys would dig it.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a way of doing the same thing by taking my projector view and replacing the polarizers with red and cyan, and then showing it that way. I don't know if it'll work, but we might give it a shot, and we can show slides live during a meeting.
Yeah, that'd be very cool.
I think I've got the link for you, Judd.
Oh, thanks.
In the chat.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yep, perfect. I was going to say, yeah, Steve, if you need a guinea pig to help you test that, I'm happy to try that out.
Good.
So, yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, Valerie, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Valerie, for that. Appreciate it.
Actually, I'm really glad you brought that up, because it reminds me, at work, when we were allowed in the office, there would be a free table, and every once in a while there'd be photographs or slides that someone didn't want, and they just left them there. I would rescue them. I brought them home, and I just thought, I don't want to see these thrown out, because that's what would happen at the end of the day if no one took them. So it's nice to know that you have an interest in this. So people like myself that come across maybe slides that they don't necessarily have a use for, but maybe they can find their way to you. So I'm glad you brought this up to the club.
Absolutely. Yeah. Reach out anytime. I'm always looking for new collections and fun stuff to show the crowd.
Awesome.
That sounds great. Judd, did you have an opportunity to see Charles Phoenix's 3D slideshow?
I did. That actually was one of the last events we got to go to, was Charles doing his live show at it was downtown. I forget where the theater was.
Yeah, we had that at the LA 3D Movie Fest a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was in 2019 at some point.
Yeah.
Downtown Independent. Yep, I remember that was a huge crowd turnout they had that night. For Charles.
Yeah, and he's always so great.
Yeah, he always sells out right away.
I have actually a question for Jeff Amaral, who was talking about developing photography with Mint Tea, and I would love to find out more about that. So maybe we can connect on that, and maybe some others might be interested as well.
I put a little link in the chat up there if you find it.
Okay.
And also you can just search that Mint Tea film developing, and you're going to find a lot of stuff. And if you want to check in with me later on, send me a note, and I'll tell you what our exact chemistry is and how we're doing it.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Sounds like a real way to, I'm thinking about how to use that with animation and
cool.
Have individual animated, images, but have them, develop it with tea. Just sounds so organic and amazing.
That would be cool.
Bringing it up. And then I have a question for David Starkman. David, when you showed your Swiss cheese pinhole camera, that was just amazing. And you'd mentioned you picked out the Swiss cheese version of it. which made me wonder, what did the other versions look like?
I had a feeling somebody might ask that, and I have to be quite honest. I'll have to dig out their old catalog. I don't remember what the other designs were, but one I think might have been just an op art design, and I really don't remember what they were. But here's this Swiss company, and they had a lot of interesting products, so I had to get the Swiss cheese. I mean, it was just the coolest looking one, or I thought. It just was so funny. I had to get the Swiss cheese.
Yeah, that's so fun. And let's see. Now, it's very possible I might have missed somebody. Was there another person that wanted to share something tonight?
Well, I've got one more thing I can show that's actually part of this Japanese Pinhole magazine thing, but since it wasn't Pinhole, I didn't bring it up before. In addition to the camera in the kit, it also has a little stereoscope that comes with it.
Screen. All right, well then I'm gonna go away.
Oh,
Stephanie? What? I'm not showing.
So,
I understand.
hold on.
I'm going to mute everybody. I'm going to mute everybody, and then Eric.
I can.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. So, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Eric, your volume is lower than it was before.
I haven't
sounds
changed.
fine to me.
So this flat stereoscope comes with it as well. It just pops out and unfolds, and has a little place where you can put the 35 millimeter slides once you've gotten them processed. And then the other thing that's really cool about this, let's see if I can. The magazine's actually attached to the box, but let me see if I can open this up and show you. The magazine itself is, see if I can find the page in here, has an article that's got a nice description of how pinhole photography works. And then the magazine also has a number of galleries of stereo pinhole photos, and a section in the middle here, if I can find it, on historical 3D. So they've got a bunch of stereograph cards. A history of stereo cameras. So it's kind of a neat collectible magazine as well. I don't read Japanese, so I can't actually read the articles, but there are some great illustrations and photos in here. And I'll see if I can find a link if these are still available anywhere and put that in the chat.
There we go. Thank you, Eric, for that. Another person would like to share something, and Stephanie has something.
Valerie, I did share that it wasn't actually Stephanie, it was David.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I went down to the side and just read, eyes in two places at once.
I'm actually, we're just using Stephanie's computer to be able to do the login, so sorry about that. The tripod I thought was terrific, the 16-foot tripod. I actually have a monopod that has the ability to be able to go up to 10 feet. A little hard to be able to show on here. A couple of things that are interesting about this one is it has detachable weights that are available for it to be able to help balance it. So you can remove the weights, you can add other weights, or it actually has the ability to be able to have a magnetic base on there, and you can use a magnetic base to be able to store And the magnetic base is capable of actually being able to go sideways. If you're on a metal system, it's enough to be able to hold up the entire thing. And then it's also got a spike that you can do to be able to go into the ground to be able to hold on to that. And this will extend out to 10 feet on here for this. So not quite the 16 foot, but it's really great because you can actually break this one down with you, and you can actually just take it and carry it. So it just makes it very easy and convenient. So I wanted to share that one. It's made by Bushman, B-U-S-H-M-A-N. It's a bit pricey. It's about $200 or so, but it's a terrific tripod for that. So I thought I'd just share that for anybody that was interested in having one that's actually, I should say, a monopod, not a tripod. Somebody that was interested in that. So that's what I wanted to share there.
David, I've never seen a magnet that would hold up a tripod 90 degrees. Is that what you were saying it can do?
Correct. Yeah. I don't know if I have anything metal here to be able to do it, but yeah, I've done it and put it on something, and man, it'll just lock in and it'll just hold it. This is really powerful.
Probably
I
a
think
rare earth magnet.
Whatever it is, I'm looking on here. You can see the number of magnets that are on there. If I
Yeah.
do it on the
Oh
camera,
yeah.
magnets all over the place on it, and it'll hold. I think it's something like a 200-pound pole or something like that. It's really
Is
strong.
that a rubber? Is that rubberized so you can put it on a surface without scratching?
Yeah, you can put it onto your car without messing it up. Yeah, I've seen people do that actually, and they've actually driven around with it to mount it on their car to be able to drive around and do things like that. So yeah, I got it for my 3D 360 camera that I bought a year or two ago.
Just don't get it near your wallet because it'll erase your credit cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have. I've been careful about that because it is really, really strong. It's very powerful in there on the magnet in there. But what I like about it is the weighted base, and you can actually get extra weights. So I actually have two of them. Each of them weighs about a pound. So it does a really nice counterweight at the bottom to be able to hold on to it there. So just nice to be able to do that with. So that's it.
Very cool. What was you said it was Bushman?
Bushman, yes.
Do you know the name of the product?
I'll find it and I'll put it in the link.
Okay,
Sounds
great.
good.
Thanks.
One thing I did want to mention, Jeff Amaral, who is here, was president of the 3D Club for a very long time, brought it into the modern world. And I didn't want this moment to pass without Jeff. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that, maybe some of your high points and exciting things when you were president.
The most exciting thing I think was other people setting up these really cool shoots that we got to go down to Sean Israelite's Santa Fe Art Colony and have a model come in, and we all were able to use our various digital cameras that we hacked together. That was really awesome time. I miss Ray Zone.
Yeah, I was looking through a bunch of pictures I did of me with Ray at the 3D Con, and it really came back.
Well, I love that Jeff brought the club into the digital age, and now he's taken it back to film. Well, it is just after 9:30, so we're probably at the end of the official meeting if there aren't any other show and tell items.
I just have a quick one.
Oh, yeah.
To let you know that from the guest speaker that you brought last month, Eric, and we really appreciate all the time you and energy you put into bringing great guests to us, and thank you for that. So Chris Sickle, did show his work, and I ended up buying 2 of his card sets. I thought I would show people what it looked like because in Zoom physical space instead of slides, he signs it there and numbers it. And then there's going to be an owl viewer in there. And then you have the cards. And I'm going to share a little bit of a funny but slightly embarrassing story. I enjoy watching movies, but I don't want to know anything about it, including I won't watch trailers. And if I can avoid knowing the title of the film, all the better. So when I got this pack of cards, I thought, okay, I'm going to use the Owl Viewer that he sent with it. And I'm going to look at these, but I'm not going to look at anything else. So I figured out like what was the top, and I take the viewer and I look and I realize I can't see any stereo. And I'm like, I don't get it. I'm not seeing it. Maybe it's shallow and it increases. And then I realized I had to turn it over. It was on the other side. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah, you should have seen me here, like going through slide by slide, going through the title one at a time, closing my eyes, putting the next card up here, lining it up, and then going, okay, and that was the type of slide experience, 3D experience, cinematic film experience that I wanted. So
that is freaky.
So anyway, I figured it's always kind of good to humble yourself and share a story like that. So that's how I'll end show and tell tonight.
Can I pipe in just for a second?
Sure.
I don't have anything to physically show you, but
Mr. 27.
27. Back in 78 or 79, I was taking a photo class, and my professor, who I'm still friends with, and he was young at the time, he was like 32. He taught us how to shoot pinholes with very specific, with a Quaker Oats, hot oatmeal thing. It was about this round and tall. And you put a piece of paper in there, and we made them out of tin foil, and it's super wide angle. And the exposure was in bright sunlight was something like, I don't know, probably 30 seconds at least. And then, you just put it in the developer and the fixer, and you had a print. And I wish I still had that. It was such a great camera. And you know what? There's something to be said for not perfect pinholes. This pinhole was so funky. It was a sharp image, but you saw all the crazy stuff where the pinhole wasn't drilled right. I just literally put a pin through there and made the pinhole. And so it wasn't very accurate, but it's sort of like seeing, when you see a dirty line around a print, it was sort of like that. It had a nice effect. That's all.
That's great.
Oh.
I think a lot of people's first pinhole camera was a Quaker Oatmeal.
And they worked really good. They're really thick.
Yeah.
I don't think they make them out of cardboard anymore. I think they're plastic now.
Eric, did you send me that a link to the longest exposure pinhole camera? Did you see this? Was it you? Somebody from the club sent me a link to a pinhole camera, and a lady had put up, an artist lady at a university in England, I want to say, put them up around her university campus, and one happened to be on the observatory dome that they had for the telescope department, the astronomy department. And somebody discovered it. She forgot it was up there 12 years later. And so there's a really nice track of the sun going by every day for 12 years. It's a fantastic image. She developed it and it came out great. It looks great.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's I'll see if I can find the news story and post the link to that. Yeah, it was really fascinating. The cameras stayed pretty stationary over the 12-year period.
Yeah, they were fixing the dome so it didn't rotate for that whole time period. So they got this one image, and over the course of the year, the sun is low in the winter and high in the summer, as the Earth goes around the sun. So it's a really good chart. It's pretty interesting. Quaker Oats.
I've got something off topic if anybody is interested.
Okay.
Just looking ahead into the future a little bit, I've been obsessed for a long time with what do we do when the 3D TVs all disappear with age. And Eric told me about the Cinera Edge HMD viewer that you put on. And so I looked that up and studied the specs on it, and they're amazing. And it's not yet into production, but they're taking things on Indiegogo, taking contributions on Indiegogo. So I made a contribution, and I will be getting one whenever they come out, which hopefully will be sometime in late April, or I suspect more likely to be early May. So as soon as I get one, I'll give you a report.
What is it?
Looks
Great. Yeah.
What is it, Oliver?
It's a head-mounted display.
Oh.
And it's for viewing 3D Blu-rays. You see,
Oh.
most of the viewers that we have now are for VR only, as Eric pointed out to me, for gaming, and they're not well set up for video, looking at a Blu-ray 3D. And I have a collection of 85 Blu-ray 3Ds I'd like to be able to watch in something when the 3D TVs go belly up. So I decided I'd buy this. The one disadvantage of it is, of course, you can only have one person looking at it at that particular moment. But has 38 pixels per degree. Angle of view is 66 degrees. Field of view is 66 degrees. So that's pretty good. They claim that that's almost as good as the 70 degree view that you have on an IMAX theatrical presentation. And the IMAX, I think, is close to 38 pixels per degree also. So this is close to theatrical quality, and it's got an OLED OLED display, micro OLED display, which enables them to make the thing very small, but it gives you this very high resolution of 38 pixels per degree. So I think that it'll be very exciting to see it come to pass. So I ordered one, and as soon as I get it in, I'll give a report on it.
Great. Yeah, and one of the things that Oliver was keen on was finding something that he could just connect to a Blu-ray player with an HDMI cable,
right,
play a movie and watch it. And they claim that this is the device to do that with.
Right, exactly.
One other option for the future, if your 3D TV dies and you want a group view, is unlike the TVs, the DLP projectors, there are still a number of them that are 3D capable that are still being made, including, I gather, some very compact ones for maybe smaller screen size that will project your 3D Blu-ray, and all you need is DLP 3D glasses to view it. Those have gotten a bit cheaper.
Yeah, that's good.
And
there's someone in New Zealand who has just put together 2 laser projectors that project on a silver screen for television and otherwise, and he's just got it going, and he says it's absolutely fantastic 4K resolution. And also I was going to deal with a very small portable, but you may have dealt with this because I come from Australia and I don't know whether you've discussed it, and that's the Hamburger, the Ivenco Hamburger handheld 3D projector. Have you come across that, anybody?
I read it, and I was considering buying one, and I hadn't gotten around to it, and I'm sort of waiting to hear a report from someone else who gets one.
Well, I've actually put in an order for one, and there's a possibility, of course, that they will turn up, I hope. It was $169 US, which was very cheap. I've got it, I can show it. I can show you a website if you want to see it. I can just share my screen for a moment.
I can't remember. I read about it.
I don't know whether it's going to work or not. No, it's not, because I am. I'm actually on my on my iPad. I can't share it. Having trouble sharing it. But if you go to, it's called Ivenco, and it's very small. It's actually that big, and it has it uses the active glasses. You have to buy active glasses in addition to the projector.
Yeah.
And but I haven't got it yet. So I just wondered if anyone had bought one. So I'm the only one who has it in this group. Okay.
Thank you for the heads up on that. I'm always interested in projectors. So when you get it, would love to hear more about it. And
Well, if I can get on next time, depending on the times and things like that, yes, I will.
Absolutely. What time is it now for you? In
Good question. I've been watching this for a while, and I've lost track of time. It is Friday afternoon at 4:45.
Thank you for joining us.
At least you don't have to get up in the middle of the night.
Sorry, what was that?
But at least you do not have to be up in the middle of the night to see us.
No, it's in the middle of the day, and it's if I finish work early, I can come along. Otherwise, I can't.
So Eric, to your point, it might be done with show and tell.
Yeah, I had looked into that projector maybe a month or two ago. David Starkman had emailed me about it, and I have to find the page again. But I remember seeing in the specs there was one thing that seemed a little bit deceptive. It said it supported 1920 by 1080, but then in the fine print, I believe it said something about the native resolution was only.
I think it's 800. It's less than 19. It's a lesser resolution, but it is also mains and battery operated, which is pretty good. So you can actually carry it around. Yeah. And it seems a fairly bright picture, but until I get it, I wouldn't know.
Yeah. So if you don't mind the reduced resolution, if you're projecting it on a small screen, it should be okay.
Should be okay. Yeah.
So I'll close things out here then. Jeff mentioned that news story about the pinhole camera. So I put the link in the chat, but I'll just show you what the picture looked like. Sadly, not a stereo photo.
Wow.
Wow. That is so cool.
Wow.
So yes, a beer can pinhole camera, and it captured 8 years of sunrises and sunsets.
Wow.
Okay.
And on that note,
how long can you stay, Eric?
I can hang out for a little while, but I do have to head out soon.
All right.
So I'm gonna end our recording.